Elisabeth Walton Robert was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In 1895, she married George Medill. He was 20 years her senior. His first wife had died, and he and Elizabeth were married. Back here you can see this is her former husband who passed away in 1901, George A. Medill. As I said, George passed away in 1901. Elizabeth then married, well, let me back up. George and Elizabeth had a daughter named Georgette. After he passed away in 1901, Elizabeth remarried in 1904 to Edward Scott Robert. He was a lawyer and George's partner in a law firm. Unfortunately, Edward also passed away December 13th, 1911. So Elizabeth and her daughter Georgette decided to take a trip to ease their sorrow to Europe. For their return to America, guess what? They boarded the Titanic first class at Southampton, bound for Missouri, staying in cabin B3. Also traveling with them was their maid, Emile Cruchen, and Elizabeth's niece, Elisabeth Walton Allen. So we're going to add some flowers here. I found it very surreal that this lady here was actually on the Titanic, buried here in St. Louis, from St. Louis. Elizabeth had decreed that she wanted her family and her friends to know that she wanted her servants, who were African American, buried in the family plot. And right here is Catherine Harris, Laura Bell Harris. I don't know if they're related. I'm gonna have to look that up. And Viola Harris Douglas. So the Harris name is all three. I would say they are related. But she expected and demanded that they be buried here in the family plot of the Medill area of Bellefontaine Cemetery here in St. Louis. Her daughter was probably around 16 when the Titanic sank. She later traveled with the Red Cross and did work with them and married. And she and her husband lived in Europe and are buried in England. So the story goes also that Elisabeth, when the Carpathia picked them up, she told her story to a journalist from St. Louis who worked for the Post, and he was able to get the story from her, a first-hand account, to the Post, and it was the first account of what had happened from an eyewitness from the Titanic.